Hello and welcome to InvestorToday.ca. I'm your host, Dave Glover. InvestorToday.ca is brought to you in conjunction with RBL Communications. I'm coming to you live from the Cambridge House Montreal show. It's November 18th. I'm standing here with Jim Cowley. He is the president of Arianne Resources, which trades on the TSX under the symbol DAN. Obviously, for more information, you can go to their website, which is www.arianne-inc.com. Jim, very nice to see you. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Dave.
Now, I understand you're the new president of the company. Can you give the viewers a little insight on that?
Well, in August, Bernard asked me if I would be interested in giving him a little bit more help. I've been on the board since January. And I said, well, it just so happens that I probably could help you with some of these project development aspects. So I said, sure.
Well, can you give the viewers a little insight into what Arianne Resources is? I know you guys do phosphate, and you're primarily located in Quebec. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes. We're in the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean region of Quebec. It's a highly prospective area for mining in general. There's iron mines, and this happens to be a phosphorus mine, and there aren't that many of them in the area, but as it turns out, a very, very nice igneous phosphate rock that makes a beautiful concentrate. So Bernard and his guys have done a great job putting together a drilling pattern that's defined an excellent mineable resource there.
Can you give us a little background then? You've just given a brief background, I guess. Can you talk about what's happening right now with Arianne Resources?
Yes, we're in the process of completing our pre-feasibility study. That's a more detailed engineering level than the scoping study that we previously had, and it's utilizing some of the new drill data that we've accumulated over the past year. That pre-feasibility study is really to identify what the optimal sort of sizing of the operation should be, to also give us a better idea of the defined resource that we have that we can mine. It's a fairly detailed mining plan that's been developed, a concentrating, filtration, flotation operation, very, very conventional, but that's basically our contractor Metchem Canada is in the business of developing, the processing technology and for any particular rock, and that's what they've done. So this also gives us an idea of the economics of the deposit.
Right.
And those economics are very important for, understanding the return on investment that our shareholders can get from development and production from this mine.
Excellent. Well, it sounds to me like it's moving along quite well. And I understand the life of that mine is probably somewhere in the area of 25 years. Is that?
Yes, that's correct. We evaluated it at a 2 million ton a day phosphate rock operation. And one of the interesting things about the study that Metchem has done is they've realized that you could actually shorten the mine life slightly by increasing the production level. It appears that there is capacity in the infrastructure to do that, and mining is one of those industries that's very scalable. So by increasing the production throughput, you basically just get bigger trucks and bigger equipment. You don't have to add more people necessarily. And what it does for the net present value is fantastic. So you increase capital a bit because of the sizing, but anyway, the leverage that you get out of that is fantastic. And that's the key, is we need to understand how big we should build this mine.
Right. Well, as you said, you're located in Quebec, in the Saguenay region, you're saying?
Yes, Saguenay, Lake St. John.
Right.
Yes.
Now, obviously, with the current economic downturn, I mean, you're probably one of the larger employers in the community, I would think.
No, not at all.
No.
It's possible that in the future we could be. I believe the number at the moment is somewhere about 400 people would be employed at the mine.
Right.
And of course, when you have high-paying jobs like mining jobs, you typically will have other support jobs that are developed along with that. And the Saguenay Lake St. John region has a population of about 300,000 people. So it's certainly would not probably be the largest employer in the area, but a significant contributor to the local economy.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about that if we can, the local economy, because everyone is obviously aware of the way the economy is going right now, especially in investing. The small cap venture market has really taken a hit. I know that the Globe and Mail put a news report out a couple of weeks ago, I guess about a week ago, talking about the fact that venture markets were really being slammed and that there just seemed to be a real wariness on the part of investors to get back into venture. Are you seeing that as well?
Well, actually, our share price, perhaps, is the only indicator I can point to, is has done very well. I think the concept you have to look at is that, is it undervalued or overvalued basis, the details of the actual deposit. Certainly, the market for phosphorus rock is outstanding. It's trading now at very high levels. Our pre-feasibility study does not assume that those levels continue, but in all likelihood, they very well could. And unfortunately, I guess for much of the world, Morocco is the primary supplier of export phosphate rock. And a diversification away from Morocco, we think, is something that North American phosphorus consumers will want to do. And of course, phosphorus, if you don't know, is a very key component of most of your fertilizer that makes our northern plains and the Midwest of the United States so productive in terms of numbers of bushels per acre of arable land. So we believe that productivity in farming is key, really, and agriculture will continue to be a very, very strong business, and that is what leads us to believe that this particular operation is going to be quite viable.
Well, and you make a really good point. I mean, we just passed 7 billion people on the planet. That's a lot of mouths to feed, and there's a lot of interest now. People are starting to go back to the farm, especially with this 100-kilometer diet that some people are on. So they want to make sure. So really, to be able to provide that's nourishment for the nourishment, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So can we talk a little bit about now where you see Arianne going, maybe in the not so distant future, or maybe into the future?
Sure. Dave, once we get the details of the pre-feasibility study in hand, and we do a little bit more work on infrastructure, understanding some of the challenges that we have in the area, the rail, the roads, access to the St. Lawrence Seaway, which we have a pretty good understanding of that already, but we need to put more numbers to it.
Right.
Then we can make some decisions about how to size the mine for the feasibility study. So the feasibility study is probably around the end of the first quarter, sometime in the second quarter of next year. We'll decide how to approach that.
Right. Well, it's been wonderful talking to you about Arianne Resources, but can we talk a little bit about Jim Cowley and how you managed to come on board with Arianne? I mean, I understand it's just sort of new, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's very new. I'm not new to mining. I've been in mining for 35 years. I've worked with a lot of large organizations, that like to build big projects. I understand the project development process very well, the role of consultants, the role of managers. I understand the markets pretty well, and it's for that reason, I think, that Bernard asked me to first join the board and then join as president. And it's really, his team have done an outstanding job with a small number of people to identify this resource and get the right people involved in testing the rock and starting to put together the actual development plan for the mine. And now it's time to take it to the next level, which is getting a bankable feasibility study in hand, so that we can, then you have many, many options. As an investor, I'd look for us to, check out all sorts of capital availability. Perhaps somewhere down the road there's offtake agreements, but right now we think this resource is going to be very valuable to potential large integrated fertilizer producers.
Excellent. Well, again, I want to thank you, Jim, for taking your time. I know you're very busy. This is of course the Montreal Cambridge House show, so we're very busy here at the show. I've been talking to Jim Cowley. He is the president of Arianne Resources. Arianne Resources trades on the TSX under the symbol DAN. It's also, for information, you can go to the website www.arianne-inc.com. Again, thank you, Jim. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. We'll see you next time here on InvestorToday.ca.